Good morning. So I've done my challenge for the day, and I'm sat here on the floor because today I did Yin yoga. That's what ended up being, because 2 days ago I talked about the bzzzt of the little person on my shoulder, and it hasn't gone away entirely. And so today I woke up and I was I was grouchy. I've been raging a bit on Facebook about the weather, and I just feel grouchy. I feel as if something is like, and I had to work through it. And there's stuff happening with my kids that I have to focus on, and it's really hard when you're a parent because you can't do anything. You can only prepare them, and then they have to go out into the world and do it themselves, don't they? And my issue is when my kids get hurt, it brings, or with anything in my life, I rage, right? I'm not one of those people who cries or gets really soft. I become really hard and I get really furious, and the problem with that is that in my body it goes to my hips, and I store it all in my hips, and it's almost like a spring is getting wound up ready for me to pounce. And you heard the venom in that, right? In the word pounce. And that's how I feel. I feel really wound up, and that's not what I want. And so I'm going through my challenge, and then I just like, I need to lock down on this. So I just went into some really deep stretches, and that's what Yin yoga is. It's really deep, and a lot of it is focused on the hips, and which is perfect for me, and it really works for me. I just do what I know, and then it becomes normally the stretches I learnt when I was dancing when I was younger. And so it's still that buzz is there of like, it's not enough, you need to do more, come on now, blah, 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 blah. And that's not what I need. I have always done the one thing of the pushing. So, and I said that this challenge I was going to try something new. I was going to try doing the relaxing thing. But it's not as easy as I thought, and it's harder. It's like deep inside, that pushes deep inside, and it's changing its mind, and it's really hard. It's really hard to show up and do what I said I was going to do, which is the taking action in the way that listens and honors my body, and it brings out that relaxation rather than that mean ass bitch who's going to rip the world apart. Because let's be honest, that's normally what I do. But once I started working through it, I put on some it's called chakra juice. It's really cool. If you go to, there's an app called Omvana. It's from Mindvalley. They have Solvana, which is all kind of self-help courses and videos, and basically tons of material to help you with your personal spiritual development, really. And they have Omvana, which is meditation music, and I have one that's called Chakra Juice, and it's really cool. It's this. I don't like panpipes. I think they're evil. Something from my past. But I like these kind of. They use meditation bells to make the music, and so with that on, and then doing my deep stretches, a lot of it just I let go of a lot of what's cramping around my hips and in my body, essentially. And so when I started to really work through it, and I was stretching, some bubbles started to come up, and they were goals that I've put down over the years, health goals, which I had and which were very important to me at the time, but for whatever reason have been put down. And one of them when I was younger was that I danced when I was younger, and I danced to a very high level in lots of different disciplines because I loved different disciplines. So I did ballet, tap, modern, jazz, and stage. And then I also went to stage school on a Saturday with my friend, and we did, with a group of us, we did stage school. So you had to do singing, acting, and dancing. So with your dancing, you did ballet, tap, and modern. for 3 hours, and then you did singing and then acting, and it was a lot of fun. So I was at quite a high level, and then I made the choice. I was given the choice to leave my hometown and move to Europe with my parents. And I chose to do that, and I thought, well, I can continue when I'm there. And unfortunately, I couldn't. But if you rewind even more, there was a choice for me to be able to concentrate on ballet and go on point. But that would mean I would have to give up some of my other classes in order to take more ballet classes. And I made the choice not to. I wanted to have it all. But there's only so many classes, and there's only so much time in the week. And I never got to do it, and I thought I could do it when I went to Europe. And then I couldn't. And I took ballet up again after I finished secondary school and started living in Maastricht full time. I took ballet up again in a really nice ballet school, but I couldn't get to that level again. And I had to take more classes, and they didn't have more classes, and it just didn't happen. They basically told me I was too old. And at that time I was concentrating on other stuff. I had to learn Dutch because I wanted to go to school, and so I was concentrating on other things, and I basically put other things in front of my dancing. And then when I moved to Kuwait, I took up dancing again with Shannon Marie Hart. She was hardcore, man. But she was really, really, really good at jazz and tab. Oh my God, the woman's astounding. And she's opened a dance school again in Australia. It looks like it's thriving within a very short space of time. She's really good. Anyway, she had a dance school at BSK, British School of Kuwait. And so I joined her there. But I was older. And that doesn't mean that I couldn't push my body. My body was still very strong, very fit, sweat like a horse. Had to work on my flexibility, but I've always had to work on my flexibility. But I found that with distraction and with life, I found it really hard to remember the choreography, which was really frustrating, because that's one thing that I was very good at, was remembering choreography, because I would live it, and I loved the choreography. My friend in England, Diane, she was better at remembering choreography, and I was remembering at certain parts and she was other parts, so together we would remember it together. And we would put the dance together and we would practice and hire studios. She would hire studios and we would practice the choreography and nail it. And because you would do an entire show, so you'd have to remember the entire show. It was really cool. Anyway, so I found that when I was in Kuwait and I couldn't remember the choreography, I got really annoyed, amongst other things. And the fitness was tough. It was more embarrassing because I was dancing with kids. But I didn't mind that. But I was just, see, this is what you get for playing with the phone. There we go. That's better. So I was dancing with kids, and it was fun. It was really fun. I didn't see myself as superior to them, and whenever I did, it made me feel bad. So I couldn't, because they were better than I was. They were younger, but I had the confidence which they didn't have. So we could help each other. But it did bring out the bitch in me. Dancing can get quite bitchy, but that's not what it's all about. And I think at the minute I'm like, I still want to pick up that goal of dancing on point. I don't want to go to my grave without dancing on point once in my life, but I want to do it properly. So it's dangerous. You can really mess up your legs if you don't do it properly, and you can mess up your feet and ankles and all that stuff. And so I want to do it properly, but I know there's a lot of training involved in order to do it. And so I can still feel it there. I can still feel that goal there, and I still want to do it. So all these old goals that I've had are coming up, and I really want to go for them. And they all mean training. And I'm at that stage in my life when I've had my kids, I've had my family. I am at the stage where they're at school now, and I'm married, and my husband's got the business of his dreams, and I'm starting to build the business that I want to build, which is about encouraging, supporting, inspiring, and motivating people to make the changes they want to make in their lives. So now it's whether or not I think I have the time to train for those goals. And you can see my face, but I'm like, I would like to do it. And so this is the beginning of that. And I don't know, I could be a 40-year-old who finally goes on point. I mean, I'm 35 now, but it takes about 2 years of training in order to get to the point where you can do that. And that's for a 14-year-old. Okay, so if a 14-year-old takes 2 years, and you have to take like 3 or 4 classes a week. But the problem is finding someone to train me. And in dancing, you're either playing at it or you're a professional, and there's not a lot of places that allow you to be in between. And for dancing, I didn't want to be a professional, but I also didn't want to play at it. I love being on the stage, I really do. I love it. But they don't really allow you to do amateur dancing. You can do amateur dramatics, or you can do amateur singing, but you can't really do amateur dancing. They don't really do that for grown-ups. It's all for kids, I guess, because there's more need for it, and adults are a bit more of a pain in the ass. I don't know, but I would like to find someone who would train me in that. So if you know anyone, let me know, because I think after I've done this challenge, I might have my head in my body again, so I know what my body is doing and where it's at. And I know that I've got a problem with my pelvis, which is from the kids, having the kids. And I know I need to find a good chiropractor to crack it into place. But there's not, it's still a mystery what my body is doing at the minute. I've been so disconnected from it for so many years that I have to reconnect with it. And that's what, 3 months, 100 days of reconnecting might just do it. And, but man, there's some weird stuff going on in my head. It's not. It wants to get back to what I've been doing for the last 20 years, which is focusing on my life. Whereas 20 years ago, movement was my life. And dancing and acting and singing was my life. I wanted to entertain, and I found my expression in that way. But in the last 20 years, I found different ways to express myself, and I found art therapy, which would help me help others to express themselves through art and creativity. And I've then developed it since then to include writing therapy and whatever clients need. And so now I'm at the stage where I really am a client-based practitioner. Whatever clients need, I do. And I pretty much figured out all the different ways to express myself. I love writing, and I love writing children's stories, and I love writing serious stuff for grown-ups, and I like presenting. I've got all the different ways of expressing myself. So that bit of me goes, get back to that. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. That's what being a grown-up's all about. But the child in me goes, yeah, but we were first. We were the first ones who understood how to express Annaloo. Could we try our way for a little bit, please? Because we rocked it for the most important years of her life. Can we be the ones who do it? And I say we because there's a few little people in there. I've got the little ballerina, and I've got the little modern jazz queen, and I've got the little singer, and I've got the little actress. They're all in there, but they don't get an airing at all. They're told to, because we found grown-up ways of expressing ourselves. And I think that's crap. I'm done with that now. I want to bring it all together. I want some integration. I want it all to be put together and make a complete person again, instead of trying to say, no, you need to be a grown-up, shut up. Being a grown-up sucks. So I want to just allow that part. You're not allowed to dance and dance around because, grown-ups don't do that. Really. That's crap. That's really, really, really crap. You have to dance behind closed doors because what will people think? That's really, really crap. So I think this I seem to do really long videos when I'm trying to work something out. What I'm at now is that I really want to integrate my inner child and my inner adult, and try and finally at 35 to bring the two together, because my inner child really, really loves expressing itself through movement. Always did. And singing and acting and all of those things. And my inner adult really enjoys expressing themselves through the mind and the soul and the heart, and through creativity in a different form. So through the art and the writing and the building and the... I don't express myself in cooking. No. I leave that to the people who are good at it. I like cooking, but I like it as a specialty thing, an everyday thing, just not my thing. It really isn't my thing. My mother and my husband love cooking as an expression thing. My dad, on the other hand, loves it as a science project. And I totally get that. Totally get that. I get all of them. It doesn't mean it's me. I've chosen a really weird place to do yoga, right? It's between my sitting room and my studio. And I'm in the archway between the two. Roll out my yoga mat. You would think that's the worst place to do something. You would feel so uncomfortable here. But I don't. I feel really comfortable, because this actually is like an analogy for how I feel right now. I'm between the grown-up sitting room, right, and my studio space. So that's my creative space. It's a little bit crazy right now because my kids have got all their art projects ready for after school. So you see there, that's Freya's project. And back there, you see the gold box. That's Bjorn's project, ready for after school. And then my sitting room. So that's all the nice and calm, nice space to move, right? You could definitely move around there. And that represents what I've created as an adult, a very visual, creative space. So it's funny, before I even started today, before I even knew where this was going, I had put myself directly in the middle, because you can see here, there's the archway. And there's my mat. That's where I'm sitting. I'm sitting literally between the two. There. Between the two. The space to move and the creative. Oh my God, I didn't even realize it before I started, but my soul must know it. My soul must know that this is what I need to think about. I need to put myself in the middle and honor both. I need to honor both. I need to honor my need for space to move and my need for space to create. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even know. That is hilarious. That is so freaking cool. I feel better now. Another thing is that I'm a woman, right? And so I go through a cycle, and my entire adult life, since I started becoming a proper woman, I have hated the fact that I change when I go through my cycle. And I'm an outgoing person, I'm an extrovert, I'm high energy, I'm high maintenance for some, I'm high maintenance for myself, right? I take a lot, I'm always thinking or doing, you know? I'm always on the go, basically. But there is a time in my cycle when I don't want to be outward facing. I don't want to be high energy and high movement. I'm a very high movement person. That's a nice way of putting it. I'm a high movement person. And there are some times in my cycle when I don't want to be. When naturally I close the doors and I become internal and I don't really... See, I'm itching. I'm such a fidget. When I just want to close the doors and I want to put on comfortable trousers and I want to put on comfortable clothes and I just don't want to put any makeup on. I just want my hair to be soft and I just want to snuggle and I don't want to be outward facing. And so doing this challenge, I'm going to go through 3 of these cycles where, or maybe even 4, where I'm just internal and I don't want to be out there in the world, but you're going to get to see it. So you're going to see a different side of me when I become very internal. And it lasts about 2 days, 2-3 days, and I'm done with it. But all my adult life, I've beat myself up about it. Like, why are you being like this? This is not the way you should be. This is not true to your nature. You should always be the same. Well, I'm a woman. I'm not a man. Men are always the same. Women go through a cycle. We are like nature. We are the representation of nature. As nature goes through a cycle, the weather is never the same. It will always change, and it goes from one part and it will come back to that part within a certain amount of time. And a woman is the same. We go through a cycle and we come back to that point every time within a certain amount of time. And so I change through my cycle, and I change like the seasons. I represent the seasons, and it's something to honor, not something to reject. But I've always rejected it because society, not my family by the way, but society teaches you should always be the same. And if you are a woman, there is a time when you should be in pain when you have a certain part of your cycle. I didn't really have the pain, as in like I want someone to soothe me and treat me like I need to be taken care of. But there is a certain time when I want to take care of myself. That's a lie. I did want people to take care of me at some point, mainly my mother. So but we don't always have the same thing. And it's not that we become PMSy and we want to rage and kill people. I'm the opposite. I want to rage and kill people 75% of the time, but 25% of the time I don't. I'm the opposite, you know. Fury and I are very well in tune with each other, but there are certain time of the month when I don't want to be fury. I just want to be soft and subtle. Doesn't happen very often. I wouldn't say it's 25% of the time. I'd say it's more like 7% of the time that I want to be soft and subtle, and I don't want to be seen. But for 93% of the time, I am high energy, furious, moving like a rocket. But just 7% of the time, I don't. And now is one of those times, and that's when the yin yoga really works for me, because I can stretch through it, and I can really let go of some of the tension which is built up in my body. And I think that's why it's good to have that 7% of the time, because 7% of the time I can work through what's been built up for 93% of the time. See, I do know my percentages, and I do know my maths, Dad. So, that's a collection jar for insects, by the way. It's a little habitat for ants. Who knew? Anyway, so 7% I can deal with what's been building up for the other 93% of the time. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's what I'm doing with my yin yoga. And this was a complete rabble-wabble, ranty-pant, going on and on and on. And I'm really sorry that you had to watch this for 22 minutes. But I had some I had a lot to work out today. Much love. Now I can't turn it off.